What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Press X Podcast, episode 110, your weekly podcast for gaming news and opinions coming at you each and every Monday. I am Kevin McManus. With me, Kellen Williard.
Hey.
Nick Hassell.
Me again.
Yeah, we're back to the almost original group.
Do I need to leave?
That's fine. Crawl under the table.
We got a bunch of news for you this week. A lot of small things, but there is quite a bit.
All the small things.
Oh my god. I'm done with the show, guys. It's been a good run.
Yes.
I'm fine with it. I'll allow it.
I do want to say, once again, that streaming setup that I was working on is almost finished. I need one more thing to get it done, and then we will be ready for some streams, and we'll see how all that goes. Still not ready to announce exactly what I'm doing, but I do know that I'm going to try to do a different type of game kind of every day just to get it started, so I can make sure everything works. So a game with a party, and a game in VR, and just a lot of variety, something on the Switch, something on the PlayStation 4, just to make sure everything works and doesn't break, which I am fully expecting.
Like most things you do?
It to be a disaster of epic proportions.
Just don't let me touch and it won't break.
That's true. You do break a lot of things.
He breaks everything he touches.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Just broke your dog 5 minutes ago.
You did break the dog. With that said, let's move into what we've been playing.
Poor dog.
Kellen, I want to start with you.
Why?
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm thirsty and don't want to start.
Fair enough. More Rainbow Six Siege. I hadn't been on since I bought PUBG. So
Correct.
Bought PUBG finally because it's got updates and they fixed all my problems with it. That game, I see the hype behind it now. It's really good. It runs really well on my computer. I played in native 4K and still get 90 FPS, so it runs good on my computer. They've fixed all sorts of problems with it. There's a million bans this week.
Yeah.
They finally turned on their anti-cheat stuff, which made it infinitely better. Although I never ran into that anyways. But I only have 11 or 12 hours in the game.
Still comforting to know.
Yeah, the fact that they're trying. They fixed that. They fixed the desert map they put out that was half done. It's fully populated and everything.
They like putting out things half done.
Well, it came out and it only had 5 decent drop zones, and you're just okay. But now there's 15 decent spots. They've done a lot of work on the game, and they still are, so it's kind of good to see that. Plus, it's only $30, so I didn't really have a problem buying it. The game's a lot of fun, though. I've played solo, duos, 3-man squad, 4-man squad. Having a full squad is definitely the best way to play that game.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
It's a lot of fun that way. That's about all I've been playing the last couple weeks. That and more Valkyria Chronicles, which that game's a lot longer than I thought it was. But
my question to you, why haven't you started Doki Doki yet?
PUBG?
We got to get you to play Doki Doki. We've had the request to do the spoiler cast for Doki Doki, and I think it would be good because me and Nick have talked about it for a lot, off camera. I think having a fresh input that we don't know anything about, and then all going back into it would be good. So hopefully we can get that done soon because it is not a long game.
No, I'll probably play it this week.
There's no Wii.
Well, there's the Wii and filming it and doing the discussion. But
The Wii? It's not on the Wii. It's on PC.
all right. Nick, what have you been playing?
Game of the Year, Shadow of the Colossus remake. Game is better than I remember. It's been...
Well, yeah, they remade it.
Well, I didn't say plays better. I just said it is better than I remember. I know we've been talking about PS2 games and stuff like that pretty recently, off camera, maybe some stuff on camera, who knows. So we've just kind of been talking about some of these old games, stuff like Okami, and which just got a sale this previous week, which maybe someone bought. And I don't know, just kind of been in the mood. I won't say it's a downtime in games because obviously we have fighting games and stuff like that to play at the moment. And right around the corner, there's going to be some games starting to come out. But this gives me a chance. I'm not the type who wants to grind a fighting game for 30 hours a week, so I like to have something else kind of fill in that void, I guess. And this came out at a really good time. And yeah, it looks insanely good. It's one of the best looking games out right now.
Yeah, it looks really, really good.
I leave it on performance mode, which is basically PS4 Pro's focus on frames per second rather than
I
visual
really
quality.
like the cinematic mode because it's weird. It doesn't make it look better in that the textures are better and anything like that. It makes it so certain things look more cinematic. So the fur on the horse moves differently and it has this blur to it that it doesn't have on the 60. Can you switch between them, or once you play it, is it locked?
Oh yeah, you can switch on the fly, but
okay,
also
then
they
I'm not
have
worried about it then.
filters on it. So basically, if you think of like Instagram or just any sort of like picture program where you can swap between filters, you can get all different like tones and saturations and whatever. You can make it night mode basically if you just swap on the filter. And it also has a photo mode that's just, I think, just down on the D-pad.
Yeah, it's
and
like Horizon and Uncharted.
Yeah.
So they've been implementing that into like all their first-party stuff. It's really cool.
You can almost make it a bright and sunny Shadow of the Colossus, or you can make it midnight Shadow of the Colossus, just kind of whatever you want to do.
Sepia Shadow of the Colossus.
Yeah, that too. And they've got some sort of like, I forget the actual name that they use, but it's like grainy and like film-like, like super grainy, not just a normal cinematic mode.
Like the Mass Effect 1 film grain? Or?
No, like way more, like old-timey. Like it's on purpose, old-timey. So yeah, it's just got a bunch of different stuff like that, and that makes it, you can play it however you want to, sort of thing. And I agree, cinematic mode is pretty cool, because that was like the point of the game, is to be like a narrative without a narrative sort of thing, just more like a movie. And when it came out, obviously we didn't have all these cinematic games. So anyways, I went through and beat it in 2 nights. I could have just played it in one straight. I think it just took me 3 hours or something like that. I actually remembered a lot more than I thought I would for a game that's, 13 years old, I think, at this point. So I was actually happy, because I remember the original time me running through, I think it was probably junior year of high school, I think, something like that. Just getting lost for a while, and some of the enemies are pretty hard to find, even though you've got a light beacon that shows you exactly where they're at, sort of thing.
Yeah,
it's still easy to get lost. So I was happy that I remembered how to find them, and the fights were way cooler than I remember. So it was nice. We talked about it last week, but some of these remakes, it's cool that now they're getting like 4K treatment and Pro, Xbox One X, all this other stuff. It's nice because you can play it now, and it looks better than you remember it looking when you first played it. Back when we were like, oh, graphics can't get better than this. So.
Oh, well, yeah. The big thing is it looks like how you think it looked. You think every time you think about a game, you're like, oh, it was so cool and it looked awesome. And then you go look at it, you're like, oh, this is a disaster.
Yeah.
But when they do these remakes and you turn them on and you're like, yep, this is what I remember it looking like. It feels so good.
They also have a ton of extras in this game, but there's one section that shows you like comparison shots, and it's
really?
It's pretty jarring.
That's neat. I know that they've added some Easter eggs and stuff from some other games and things like that. I ordered it. I wanted the special edition, couldn't find it the day it came out. Amazon threw some up randomly, so I went and I ordered that. So I'll have that like next Tuesday or Monday or something like that. So I'm excited to hop into it by myself. Me and Kellen actually played through it our first time playing through it, and he did all the horseback riding and stuff, and I fought the Colossus.
Kevin's sense of direction is awful.
Oh my gosh. Have you seen me try to drive somewhere?
Yeah, it's awful.
It's real bad.
So yeah, riding the horse while also turning around and shooting at a Colossus, I'm sure will be awesome for you.
I mean, I did that. I just didn't do the sword light thing.
Oh, find it.
You literally couldn't find any of it.
Yeah, I was not good.
Kevin, it's that way. You do it. All right. Fine.
But yeah, it's awesome to have a game like that have 4K, and you can see every single blade of grass moving and stuff like that. It just adds a lot. I know some people said, oh, it hurts like the original vision of the game because it was supposed to be dark here and kind of blurry here and stuff like that, so it makes it more mysterious. Like
that game exists.
I like seeing all.
It didn't go away.
I like seeing all the detail, especially like you said about the colossi. I guess you can see all the little strands of hair and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool.
Is that it for what you've been playing?
Other than that, in the fighting games,
yeah. Okay. Yeah, I don't have too much new to add. I've been doing my Fortnite news thing. I will say I didn't finish Ys like I wanted to, because there's these sections in the game called raids, which are basically, and almost every JRPG does this, and it is my least favorite thing about JRPGs, and that is they put mini games in their game, and then they make them like a mandatory part of the plot for some reason. So you get to this part where it becomes like this tower defense type thing, where there's a door that if the door breaks down, it's just game over, and you have to redo it. And basically, it's waves. Oh my gosh.
What do you got against tower defense?
In the middle of a different game, it's pretty annoying. Even like Final Fantasy Type 0 had a tower defense thing, but the whole idea of it is this is how you do it, and then if you want to do harder variants of it, you can do that. Like, you know, it's optional. And in this one, you do the first one, and then it's like, hey, there's going to be some optional missions like this popping up. And it's like, oh, okay, but there's like 5 or so mandatory ones. And this mandatory one was so hard. The monsters that you fight I was the recommended level for it too. But the monsters that you fight are super fast, so they get to the thing really quickly, and they can one-shot all the stuff that, like, is in their way to get to it. So you really have to be a higher level than them in order to kill them quick enough, because they'll break down the door in, like, 3 hits, and then you fail and get a game over. And I did it all Tuesday, couldn't do it. Wednesday, couldn't do it. And I finally beat it on Thursday because I leveled up a character who has a skill that basically like makes him like a tank, and you can pull enemies towards him. And I just spammed that move and then would switch and hit him a little bit and then spam that move. So it like wasn't fun, but that's what I had to do. And I still only was able to do it by like one, like the door had 1 hit left by the time I beat it. And I was like, that was miserable. And then it's back to the game that I like again. But that is my first like real issue with this game, was this mandatory side mission, not side mission, but side mini game things that they do. And a lot of JRPGs do that. They just throw in these mini games for some reason. Other than that, still enjoying the game. I'm coming close to the end. I have like a chapter and a half-ish left, so I'm getting there. And then my other big one was obviously Fortnite. Been playing through that. Got my Battle Pass goal, which was my disco outfit that I wanted so badly. So I got that. So now I'm just kind of finishing up the Battle Pass, but I got the thing that I wanted the most, so I'm happy with that. And I just want to quickly tell my fun Spike Room story, because it was hilarious. I was playing with my niece and her boyfriend and then a random in squads. And we wanted to do the thing where you build a room of spikes and then you hide in the room and you have a floor above you, basically. So you're in a basement or something like that. And you can edit pieces. So you can edit the floor and turn it into just a little section. So if somebody's standing over it, the floor goes away out from under them, they fall down into the spikes, and the spikes kill them. It's a super popular strategy right now for trolling people, basically. Then they land, they die, and you taunt them and laugh, and that's typically how the videos go. However, we built our spike room, and we hung out in there for 15 minutes, maybe, and the circle just kept going to us and eventually ended on our spot, and we only got like 1 troll kill at that point. And then it became, we could win this game just in the spike room. And basically what happened was it ended right on our spike room. Somebody didn't fall for the trap, and the storm ended up killing him because he couldn't jump down because the traps would kill him. And then he ended up killing me, but my teammate was still down in the spike room. And the other team that was left just all hopped down at the same time, and the spikes took them all out, and we got the victory, and it was hilarious. So one of my favorite Fortnite memories for sure. And I think I'm going to edit that video up and post it in some form, because it was just hilarious. But the only thing that's unfortunate about it is we were in party chat, so there's no dialogue, basically, of us talking. Yeah, so we're going to stop doing that and start going into the actual chat so that there's dialogue.
Missed opportunity.
Yeah, it really was, because we were very happy.
Doesn't the PS4 let you record?
Yeah, that's what we...
chat?
I don't know about the party chat. Maybe you can turn it on.
Yeah, I think you have to turn it on, and then there's an option that says as long as other people check it for themselves, they can be heard.
Maybe we'll do that then. Either way, it was a hilarious moment. I started kind of clipping out these moments that are just so funny.
It would probably be better in party chat, especially if you can hear the guy die before, or like hear him talk before he dies.
Oh, no, you don't hear other people, but you'd at least hear us just going, I just want 1 kill. 1 kill would be great. And then like 5 people fall down and we're like, what just happened?
Oh, there's no like area chat in Fortnite?
No.
Okay.
No, there's no giving away your position by talking type thing.
That's not fun.
I wouldn't mind that.
There is in PUBG. Sometimes you just hear music. You're like, oh, I'm going to die now. Like,
yeah, the only like area thing is the environment. So like dancing or hitting a car or things like that give off area effects. But no, you can't hear people talking. So that would be interesting.
Yeah.
That would probably make the community way more toxic, though.
What's wrong with that?
Exactly. All right, let's move into some news. Let's start out with EVO. From our lineup of games here, not exactly correct, but the best we could do. EVO 2018's lineup has been officially revealed. Evo's coming August 3rd through 5th, and the lineup is going to be Tekken 7, Smash 4, Street Fighter 5 Arcade Edition, Blaze Blue Cross Tag Battle, Injustice 2, Guilty Gear, Rev 2, Smash Melee, and Dragon Ball Fighters. A notable game is missing from that.
Yeah.
What is that notable game, Nick?
Marvel versus Capcom Infinite.
Yeah, so it was funny because the news going into this is Marvel going to make it? Everybody was like, oh, probably. Then they started revealing games, and they put in Cross Tag Battle, which was a huge announcement because that game is not out.
Yeah.
And it'll be coming out, I think...
end of May, I think, something like that.
I think it's June 2nd for America, and I
right,
think
May 31st, Japan. Yeah,
something like that. Okay. So they announced that, and they announced that the first 2 characters that are DLC are going to be free, which is nice. They're both Ruby characters, I believe.
Correct.
And then everybody was like, "Oh, well, that's a little strange." Then they were like, "Maybe Smash won't make it." Then they were like, "Melee and Wii U Smash are both in," and then Dragon Ball Z. Dragon Ball Fighters or Dragon Ball Fighter Z was the last game announced in the slate and kicked Marvel Infinite out, which is kind of hilarious. That game's pretty much been there since the inception of Evo.
Yeah.
So this is kind of their first year to not have their game there, but good on the anime community, I guess, because they got a whole bunch of games in there.
Yeah, and really good on the content people and the directors and the people who just run Evo, because, I mean, that takes some balls to
or
do
just
that.
Arc System.
Yeah,
I think Arc System might have forked over some money or something.
I don't know, but, like, you don't... It's good on them because, like, something that's just a mainstay that's there for so long and all the iterations of Marvel... it makes sense that, it's like honorary. It just should be in there just because it always has been, sort of thing. But good on them for kicking it out, because that probably wasn't an easy decision. I don't know about the money side.
No,
of it.
yeah, it's like, do you make people mad because it's in there, or do you make people mad because you took it out?
Yeah,
and I don't know. People have a disdain for that game.
I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, they're there to get viewers, which in turn gets some money, and blah blah blah. But like, Fighters is the hot game right now, so.
Oh, yeah, I didn't think Fighters was not going to be there for a second, but the Blaze Blue and Guilty Gear. Yeah. Guilty Gear really threw me off, especially because I've never played Guilty Gear, at least this new one, and it reminded me of Dragon Ball Z. Like, it has that perspective where it's cartoony, and then it zooms in, and they do their moves, and then it pulls back out. I'm like, I want to play this game now. Yeah. Like, it was neat.
I don't know. Both Smash games make sense because of just the sheer number of people that sign up for them.
That's fair.
People love those games.
But I really wish freaking Fox vs. Ice Climbers, the game, would just die. Like, I'm so sick of it.
It's not going anywhere.
No, there's way too many people that sign up for it. So those have to be in there. Tekken is probably the best all-around fighter, so it makes sense. Street Fighter is always going to be there. I don't think it's going to take the route of Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. And yeah, I mean... They could have just... The only way it was going to make it in is if they added a 9th slot, and that's just so hard to do with 3 full days. And I mean, they have all sorts of channels when they stream this, but just fitting another top 64 on top of pools, I mean, just I can't imagine what the number would have been compared to everything else as far as sign up for it. So.
Yeah, and they wanted to ensure that they're doing all the side events. They're trying to stream the side events, so people that are fans of that game can get access to it. But yeah, do you remember the Sunday lineup that they announced?
I do not.
So I know it was Tekken 7 and Street Fighter. I think it was Dragon Ball Fighters. Yeah. I always want to say Fighter Z, and then I have to think about it. Dragon Ball Fighters was there as well, and then I think it was one of the Smashes. I don't remember which one.
Probably
it was.
Melee.
And I think that's the Sunday stage, and people think that the main event is Dragon Ball Z. Like, that's going to be the...
I mean, like
cool.
I said, like, you got to...
Just
as far as, like, spectacle. The marketing side of it and stuff like that, I mean, that game pulls in the anime crowd and the fighting game crowd even better than Blaze Blue, Guilty Gear, stuff like that. Like, you have so many people that have just at least watched the show when they were kids or now or both. And
the game is fun to watch.
Yeah.
That is... Like, that's part of my problem with Street Fighter is I don't think that game is even fun to watch. There's a lot of fighting games that I'll watch just because I can kind of figure it out, and I like seeing, like, oh, that was a really good comeback or all this stuff. but Street Fighter doesn't do that to me.
Yeah.
But Dragon Ball Fighters is obviously super fun to watch.
That's the thing too. That's what I was saying last time I was on here. At least was even just watching friends play versus you playing. Like you're having just about equal fun when you're playing it or watching it. Stuff like Tekken. There are people breaking it down, analyzing.
That's
so you need
when
more
Tekken's really good. When you have somebody explaining why what they're doing is awesome.
And then Street Fighter, I think the personalities of the people playing, like the actual like players themselves, and the longtime commentators who have seen these guys for the past like dozens of years. So that it sort of makes you feel like historic sort of thing. So it's like people talking about, oh yeah, and when he played Street Fighter 3, and it was like, whoa, like that was a long time ago. So those are like the cool things about that. But yeah, Dragon Ball Fighters, I haven't seen a tournament yet, but I would imagine it's just like a bunch of people yelling and just hyping.
It's
like
gonna
crazy,
be weird.
so.
I think they also announced that like the producer on the game is going to Evo and she's playing in the tournament.
Sure.
For fighters. So
that'd be cool.
We'll see how that goes. Yeah, I'm excited to watch it. Especially, I mean, I'll get the cross tag battle game, but I am very interested in Guilty Gear because now that has my eye. I'm like, ooh, I might need to get this game. So I'll be checking out that for that, and then decide if I want to get the game or not.
Me too, and I'm glad they moved it back to my birthday weekend, first weekend of August. Usually,
it's really late.
Yeah, I don't know what the decision was. Maybe just booking it was a pain, or maybe they just realized
maybe whatever
in the middle of the year
arena thing they purchase for it was taken. It could have been something as simple as that, but yeah, very excited for Evo. Big fan.
Yeah.
They doing Catherine? That's all I want to know.
Well, too, I think putting it at the middle of the year gives more games.
That should be the main event.
It should be no event.
Gives more games a chance to squeeze in. I think Blaze Blue would have missed the mark by a little bit.
It would have, yeah. That is very, very true. I didn't even think about that. Next up, let's talk about Activision. Activision Blizzard has made more money in 2017 from microtransactions than they have from actual game sales. This is the most depressing news I have heard all week. They brought in records amount of revenue last year. Their net revenue was basically $7 billion, which is not bad. Not bad.
Chump change.
Over $4 billion of the over $4 billion of that was from microtransactions. So they're doing well.
Yeah.
However, I do want to point out that they own King, which is the mobile game company that makes Candy Crush. And I remember doing the news story for this back when I did like just me doing the news on the green screen thing. They bought King for $5.9 billion. And I remember doing that story because I was like, you could have bought Star Wars twice. That is a crazy thing to do. And it says $2 billion of that revenue has been made by King. So they made back at least $2 billion just this year from that purchase. So, $2 billion of that is from Candy Crush, which has 385 million active users currently.
Good Lord.
That's a lot of bored moms and dads in offices.
Yeah. So a little bit of a skewed statistic if you take that into account, but still, they're making billions from microtransactions regardless.
And I didn't feel as bad. I mean, I think collectively just don't like microtransactions that much.
The thing is, I don't think anybody likes them, but people just go, well, that's a cool skin. Yeah. It reminds me of the remaster argument that I always hear, which is, stop remastering games. Old game is old. I don't want to play the old game. But if you remaster Shadow of the Colossus, I'll buy that. Yeah. And that's how it is with everything. Like, you might not care about the Shadow of the Colossus remaster, but if they remastered, whatever game, Mechasalt,
KOTOR?
You'd be like, I'm buying that in a heartbeat. And like, maybe I wouldn't care about Mechasalt. I would, but maybe I wouldn't care about Mechasalt. But they remaster Catherine, I'm all on board.
I've got good news for you.
Yeah, so it reminds me of that where people are like, microtransactions suck. Ooh, is that a teddy bear skin? I'm going to purchase that.
I was going to say, I feel like Activision Blizzard aren't the worst offenders, at least the Blizzard half isn't, as far as microtransactions go. Obviously, if you hear EA and stuff like that.
Yeah, minus Destiny. People real mad at Destiny, too, for all their microtransaction stuff. But definitely the Blizzard part of it, for sure. People really like what they've done with Overwatch. They feel like that is a fair way to
purely
market.
Cosmetic.
It has no effect on the game.
I think that's fine. I would prefer Overwatch to be a free game and then them do that more of the Team Fortress 2 style game. But yeah, overall, I think that as far as the totem pole of hating companies for doing microtransactions, yeah, Blizzard is nowhere near the top. That's for sure. But yeah, they're here to stay.
What helps that they do so much for their fans and stuff like BlizzCon and all that.
Yeah,
other
it helps
stuff
that they're
too.
not a shitty company.
Yeah, that always helps.
For sure. Next, Friday the 13th has put out a trailer for its single-player content. So this is interesting because I was curious what they were going to do for single-player. And they just put out a short trailer, which is basically the tutorial. And it's more of a puzzle game. It's actually interesting. So the way that it works is it's cutscenes and voice acting, and all the characters have a personality, and they all seem like shitty people that you would want to kill. And you play as Jason. So
you play as Jason.
Yeah. So the story of the trailer that they revealed is some people stop the car. I don't know if it runs out of gas or whatever it is. And they're like, one person's pouring the gas into it, and the other guy's like, oh, I got to take a leak. And he walks away and he goes into the woods, and you're playing as Jason, and you basically need to kill them off so that they won't escape or they can't alert each other, things like that. So you take out the guy who's peeing, and then you go and take out the guy who's putting the gas in the car, and then like you cleared that level. So that it's like puzzle missions where you play as Jason and you're trying to, it's more like a Metal Gear Solid.
I was going to say, is it like Splinter Cell or
yeah.
Metal Gear?
Yeah, that seems how it's going to be. I don't know,
Jason
because I don't think they showed what happens if you just like appear in a group of people. I imagine they all scatter, and if they get to the edge of the map, you fail, would be my guess. But kind of neat, kind of not what I expected, but it's something I'll totally check out.
I figured it'd be a run from Jason game mode.
Yeah, me too. I don't think they have any interest in doing the AI for Jason.
That's fair.
Fair enough.
At all, because he's got like cooldowns and power, like all this
Well,
stuff.
it sounded
I
like
don't
too
think they
before
have
this
any
last
interest in that.
update, they wanted to like kind of raise the interest in playing as Jason again. So this helps.
Yeah, so I'll go into that really quick. They made it so that Jason has more throwing knives at the start, all that stuff that we talked about last week. Well, now that they've announced that they're doing, their dedicated servers, they're working on them, they're delayed. And the reason that they're delayed is because they're moving the engine over. It was like Unreal 3. And they're doing Unreal 4, so they have to move the entire game over. So basically what they announced is they're like, here's some stuff to tease what's coming, but they're basically like, minus bug fixes and stuff, we're done updating the game until, I think they said April, but then in April they're going to have the engine converted, and it's going to fix all the problems, like the hair going crazy when you escape, and all those issues, like... They said like things falling through the level, all that stuff will be fixed because of this update. Then it's going to introduce the dedicated server so that the host leaving won't cause problems. And then they said then from there it'll be like a new game that'll be super easy to put the updates into. They basically said that most of the problems that they've been having is because of the Unreal version that they've been using. So that's cool, though. It is a little weird to announce, hey, we're not really doing anything with the game for a few months. But they've already announced a double XP weekend, I guess probably to like soften that blow. So that's cool. But yeah, the single-player stuff was kind of cool. I was surprised because I didn't think I'd care.
Yeah, I'll try it.
But yeah, it's definitely something I'll hop into and at least mess around with and see what's up. Next up. I don't want to jump into Fortnite just yet. I already talked about Fortnite. Let's do Monster Hunter World. Monster Hunter World surpasses 6 million units shipped. So this is officially the fastest-selling Capcom game, I believe. And lots of sales in Japan, which is surprising because Japan doesn't really buy console games that much. They are way more of a handheld/mobile market nowadays, which is why the Switch is doing so well, because it is the perfect, I think, like concession for them. It is a mobile console, which is really neat. But anyway,
For 2 hours.
I'm sure they have chargers or portable batteries, though I don't know if you've heard this. The portable chargers, sometimes when you plug it into the Switch charges the portable charger instead of the portable charger charging the Switch.
That seems
It all
like a
makes
good
sense.
idea.
Which is pretty funny. But anyway, yeah, so this game is selling like crazy, and it's already shipped 6 million units. So how are we feeling about the Monster Hunter hype?
I feel like I'm really missing out on something. I purposely don't watch streams of it because I know I'm going to get suckered into buying it because I want to hold out for the PC version, which I feel is just going to be far superior.
It's only on Xbox and PS4 right now.
Yeah. So I am avoiding this thing like the plague because I know I'm going to basically catch it as soon as I start feeding that interest. So.
I would like to see the breakdown of Xbox sales because I feel like the Xbox probably heavily supported this game, actually, because they're such an online-focused like ecosystem, the Xbox One is, that I feel like that is a perfect third-party game for them,
and they're
actually.
starving for games. So
Yeah, like I really would like to see the breakdown of how much sold where, Obviously, the PS4 has more people, so it's going to sell more there.
Just an advantage.
But I would like to see how much went to Xbox, because I know a lot of Xbox players that got that game because it's like, hey, I get to hang out with my friends online, which is seemingly the stereotype for the Xbox One gamer is the online game person, the Division, things like that. But yeah, good on that game. Like I said, I couldn't get into it when I played it. I was just like, this combat's not for me. It feels so slow. Adding people to your party is a pain in the butt. You have to do like that whole system where you got to find their room and then put in the password and all. Like, why can't I just invite people and hunt monster?
That's why I'm hoping the PC
Hunt
version's
monster.
a little bit better, just because usually when things get ported over that have that wacky kind of system,
it's
usually
horrible.
it's got like a PC implementation that like, oh, okay, this makes way more sense, because that's what PC games mostly are, is going to find a server or a room or something like that.
Yeah, that drives me crazy. Everybody's Golf does that too online, where you have to make a room and then password protected or random people join. It's very annoying. But yeah, good on Monster Hunter. I'm glad everybody loves it. I have watched streams of it. I just don't get it. I just can't understand
I get
fun.
the people who play in parties, and that's the big reason why I'm holding out for PC. I played the beta or demo or whatever you want to call it by myself, and I was like, this is like the Borderlands to me, where I can see what's good about it, but I'm gonna have way more fun when I play with people, sort of thing.
Yeah, and it's a lot of discovering stuff by yourself. Like, weapons have combos, but they're not like, hey, the combo's square, square, triangle. Like, you need to have somebody tell you that or figure it out.
That's
on your
the other
own.
good
You gotta
thing
figure it
about waiting too, is usually by the time the PC version comes out, everyone's figured out like all the cool little tips and tricks, and I've just got like a whole guide there ready to go.
Fair enough. Next up, Niantic has released more Gen 3 Pokemon. So the way that they are rolling out this gen is different than 1 and 2, which is every 3 weeks or so, they're just like 25 new Pokemon. 25 new Pokemon. They're kind of doing it by type. So like water Pokemon this week, fire this week.
They can
whatever.
last a few years doing that.
Yeah, well, that seems to be the game plan, and I'm actually enjoying the way that they're doing it, because then they sprinkle in these mini events. So they'll be like, all eggs for the next week only hatch Gen 3 Pokemon. And right now there's an event going on that the only Pokemon that spawn are Gen 3 Pokemon. So they're doing these mini incentives to play, which is really nice. So this particular patch added sky-based Pokemon, basically flying Pokemon, things like that. And also Rayquaza. Is that right?
Rayquaza, but good enough.
Rayquaza.
He joined the raid group and took over where Kyogre was.
Best dragon.
So people are excited about him because I guess he's one of the best Pokemon in the gen for at least the game. So people were excited about that.
Or just the entire lineup.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. He's amazing.
There's also been some APK mines of the game. They found out that there's new dailies coming to the game, finally. They found out that there's a quest log with daily quest and a story being added to the game. So all the stuff that I've been hoping that we would get is finally happening, which is good. Because all you need to do, I don't know if I've talked about it on here, because I know I wanted to do a video about it, but I just wanted a quest thing where it's like, go catch 5 fire Pokemon and report back to me when you do it. And you go, catch them, and then you go and you get like experience, and maybe you get a perfect IV Pokemon or something like
You
that.
get a bonus, yeah.
For doing it, and you can make it so that all these gyms and Pokestops can turn into other things. Like this one has a medical station that when you go there, it heals all your Pokemon, and you can talk to the people in there, and they could give you a quest to maybe go to a gym and take it down. And
well, that's what the
what I
actual cartridge-based games are like, is, hey, I need you to go do this for me, bring it back, and I'll give you a cool...
Yeah.
I'll give you a TM.
I don't know why it's taken so long for them to introduce that. Like, they have the weather thing now, which is really nice, where it spawns certain Pokemon in certain weather conditions, and weather can affect evolving and stuff like that. That's all nice. But the quest system is the thing that I wanted the most, and it seems like it's coming soon. So that's cool.
It's on the way.
Next up, DayZ has been confirmed for release on Xbox One in-game preview this year. So it's coming to preview at least on Xbox One in 2018. And asked about PS4, they said there's no plans to talk about what they're doing with the PlayStation 4 version, but they do want to reassure people they are working on it and it is coming, but we don't know if it's 2018, basically. Any of us care about DayZ?
No,
Not really.
I forgot it existed, to be honest.
Yeah.
That's why I liked the story so much, because it felt like someone waving their hands and being like, I'm still relevant, guys, right?
Yeah, so to me, I get DayZ confused with H1Z1.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, because Sony owned them, and now it's going to Xbox. That's cute, because that's what H1Z1 was a Sony studio. Mm-hmm. And then I looked into it, and I'm like, no, this is the other game. This is the Microsoft. This is the one that's only been on Microsoft things like PC and a couple 360 games and original Xbox. And now this will be their first game for a PlayStation console, so it's actually the opposite. But yeah, I personally have no interest in this game. I'm so done with zombies and stuff. Even like the Fortnite,
overdone, yeah.
Even Fortnite like zombie mode. I'm like, I don't care. I don't want to play that.
Yes, even Siege is doing something called Rainbow Six Siege Outbreak. It's supposed to be coming out.
I mean, I kind of like the Call of Duty zombie modes and stuff like that.
Well, I don't mind those because
Call of Duty has a story to it.
Yeah.
Whatnot,
that and they kind of made the shoehorn zombies into everything popular because they did that zombie mode and then almost every other place is like, ooh, let's do a zombie
that worked
mode.
well for them. Let's do it.
So I don't feel like Call of Duty's ripping people off. Whereas if Call of Duty came out and they're like, hey, Battle Royale mode, I'd be like,
that'll be next year.
Oh, jeez.
Even though, I'm still kind of burnt out on zombie games just from X number of years. If they announced a new Left 4 Dead, I would probably buy it day one.
Oh, yeah. Once again.
That's what they're comparing the Siege Outbreak to, is Left 4 Dead.
Really?
Because there's like four, you pick 4 characters and you just go.
Left 4 Dead's awesome, though, because it did like the B movie thing.
Yeah.
Where they were like, oh, it's
You have
like
like
a
characters and the posters and stuff, yeah.
Yeah, also, we
Look at
didn't
'em.
we didn't
I know,
talk about this, so let's throw it out there. Far Cry 5's DLC was outlined a week or two back. I just forgot to put it on the thing. And they described them as B horror movie scenarios.
Yeah.
There's one that takes place on Mars where you're shooting like aliens and like
Oh, they sound awesome. I read
People
that.
were really mad and bummed out about this, and I was like, this
Why?
is the coolest sounding
That's
DLC
really cool,
I've ever
yeah.
heard. I don't know what you're
It's
talking
going to be
about.
more like Blood Dragon kind of stuff.
Hopefully. Yeah, hopefully. So.
Yeah, see, that's what I don't get is that there's part of the crowd that really likes the super serious, story-driven, character-driven Far Cries, and then there's people like me who like the old Far Cry like Predator Instincts game where you would take like that shot and become like the Predator thing and run around and slash people. And then like Blood Dragon's the best thing ever. So
Yeah, the game's incredible.
So I like the goofy kind of wacky stuff, but if they want to mix it in with a cool story, then go for it. Like I don't understand hating one side or the other. I just kind of like having them all.
And then kind of on the topic of that, I'll throw this out there. Red Dead 2 is rumored to have a Battle Royale mode. How do we feel
I heard
about
that too.
I think it makes thematic sense because it's the Wild West.
I don't think they have won't be enough gear to go around for that kind of thing.
See, I don't think that I think it's just a rumor that's not true. I think
It may
it's
not
something
be, but
Sure,
that's
I mean,
started. I don't
heard
see
it
it
too,
happening.
I'd say it's a low percentage chance, but I would rather have that than GTA Online made over into Red Dead.
I absolutely
Like I don't want to have
would
my
rather.
own.
Yeah,
like
I
I don't
want
want
a
to
reskin of
like
GTA Online.
Yeah, I'd rather have them be separate like that because otherwise you'd be like, hey, come to my saloon and talk with my bar girls or something, and then we can go out and like shoot each other's horses and carriages or something. Like I don't. I'd rather just have it
Drive by.
just some big open thing, and like if you want to put like a tornado or something, that be the storm or something like that. Like it makes sense, and the Wild West is that kind of big open free for all sort of thing, so it makes sense.
Yeah, I can't really think of a game that fits the Battle Royale mode much. Like, I feel like we have the realistic one in PUBG, and we have the cartoony one now in Fortnite, and I don't know what in
Where
the
else to
middle
go
I
with
would
it.
want. The only thing that I've heard, and I think would work, is The Last of Us 2 having one, because that game is about survival already.
Yeah, that would be.
And somebody, it was actually Sancho West, who's a streamer, a huge streamer for Naughty Dog games. He posted his idea for it, and I liked like 50% of it. And one of the things that I liked was making it just 32 people, really honing in on that, because the most exciting part of the Battle Royale is those last people.
Or the very beginning.
No, not really.
It is in PUBG.
So you have 32 people instead, and the storm is like a wave of clickers and stuff that slowly move in on you. And I was like, that's pretty cool. I like those ideas. But yeah, that's the only game I can think of that could do like a twist on battle royale that I feel like, oh, okay, that would work. But there's not many games that I
wouldn't
feel like
mind.
It's a weird genre. To
I
throw in
wouldn't
stuff.
mind like a more like ancient Greece or Rome sort of thing, where it's like more gladiators, spears, stuff like that. That would make it kind of cool, like the Colosseum or something like that. I don't know.
like
I mean, there's
For
a-
Honor.
There's a crossbow.
Battle
in
Royale.
Yeah, a good one though.
Push.
Where it's not
Oh,
push
you
off
pushed
the
me
map.
into the storm.
But yeah, something like that would be a cool spin on it that I could go for. But yeah, that's about the only. It's basically just changing the setting.
That's true. A change of time period
Yeah.
would be a good.
I wanted a Star Wars one, but you know.
Or Lord of the Rings.
We
You
don't
can
have
have
a good
elves and bows
engine
and
for a
magic
Star
and all
Wars
that.
one. I don't
It'd be
think.
fun though.
Yeah, I mean, I love the
PUBG,
idea.
but
I love the idea of a Star Wars one. I don't know exactly how it would work because
you drop
Star
on a
Wars-
planet, you go.
well, everything Star Wars does, they're so like it's got to be canon. It's got to
Yeah, I
fit
know.
into their thing. So like they can't just drop you and like you find clone armor and then you find a lightsaber and that would be cool.
That'd be cool, yeah.
But yeah,
It
won't
wouldn't
do that.
work, but
They won't
it-
even let you make Darth Vader pink in what's it called, Battlefront 2.
Yeah.
That's
Man, I was
terrible.
going to transition into Fortnite, but let's just transition into Battlefront 2.
Huh, there you
Battlefront
go.
2 to receive added character customization, conquest mode, and Clone Wars DLC in future updates. So this is pretty big. I still think that people are a little worried about that game because they did the whole no purchasing things right now, but it's
Yeah.
gonna come back.
It'll be back.
Asterisk. Yeah.
So people are kind of nervous about that. I feel like some interesting stuff has come out about the game. Like 70% of people who own that game have played the single player, which is huge. That is a really big number because usually it's less like a single digit % of people that play single player.
That style of game, yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say only like Halo. If you want to compare those two, or
That's fair.
would probably have a larger percentage. But yeah, it's usually. I mean, like Call of Duty, it's got to be like 33% or less.
Oh,
Even
There's no way it's
even
that high,
even
yeah.
those stories,
Yeah, it's
are
way lower. It's probably like
crafted
9.
for those
Probably
people.
like 10%, yeah.
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 I think that part of the reason it might be so high is because the people that don't care about multiplayer, that only wanted it for the story, bought it, and then all the people that care about multiplayer heard all this bad news and were
Heard all
like,
this-
I'm just not going to buy it.
Like, I'm not
Yeah.
touching
I think
yeah.
that might actually be part of the reason, but how are we feeling about new DLC? And I think most importantly, the character customization. I think that's huge.
Clone Wars is almost enough to make me buy it, but I'm part of the group that's like, okay, well, when's this charitable mood that
When's
they're
that?
in
When's
gonna
that?
run out?
Switch
When does that
flip?
end?
Yeah.
Yeah. Clone Wars stuff is awesome. Like
Yeah.
the whole idea of it, I enjoy that quite a lot. But yeah, to me, the character customization is the most interesting because does that mean that maybe you can make a like your own character and
Your
that's
own
how
hero?
they do loot boxes? Is you can design your own guy? Like they
I finally
do
get the crossbow for
they
my,
do the
you know.
cosmetic route that people like because that would be interesting.
Yeah.
I would enjoy that. But all right.
That's basically what we have to do with all their updates is how are they going to make money off of it?
Yeah.
Sadly.
How do we get money
That's how
out of
you
this?
got to question them, basically. So Fortnite has put out a dev update. They put out 4 of these now, and basically it's them talking about their few month in the future plan for the game. And there is a lot here, so I'm just going to go over some of the important stuff. First off, they had hit, I forget the exact number, but it's like 4.7 million concurrent players at the same time, which really did a number on their servers. But so they said that they're
A
working
good
on
number on their servers.
Yeah, they said that they're working on their server stability, all that stuff, and optimization, all that good stuff. They announced that they're going to shoot for 60 frames per second on all consoles, including the original Xbox One and the PlayStation 4. Currently, right now, you can uncap your frame rate on either of them, but on the original Xbox One and PS4, it will obviously chug if there's too much going on. So they said that they are individually looking at each console to optimize it for each one, which is really nice. They're adding new servers, which is fine. They've already split some servers. So like they have United States East and United States West servers just to help things like that. They've revealed some concept art and they're working on doing a new way of doing their cosmetics. So like usually you have a parasol or an umbrella as a glider, or you have like a regular glider, and they're showing that they're going to start introducing new shapes to allow them to do new designs. So like there's one that's a big dragon that's way longer than all of the other ones. Kind of like a blimp, I guess, would be a good way to describe it.
I'm okay with that.
Some new outfits, things like that. Then we get into some important stuff, such as we're looking at improved building controls on consoles. The game is almost different on PC than it is on console because building on PC is so easy. You hit a button and it directly goes to that piece.
You have enough buttons for that, yeah.
It directly goes to that piece. It's a completely different game, and it's almost less fun to watch on PC, I think, because everybody just uses the same weapon. Like, there is a best thing on PC, and that is shotgun. You use a shotgun, and you build for defense, and you close in on them with the shotgun, and that's what 90% of people do on PC, and it seems like they're trying to make it so that instead of switching between pieces, it'll be like L1 builds a wall, L2 builds a roof, R1 builds a floor, and R2 builds a ramp, so that you could build everything without switching.
Basically pallets kind of thing.
Yeah, so that's kind of what I think they're trying to do. They're adding team communication outside of voice chat. They're adding the ability to instantly requeue from the death screen. They're adding the ability to preemptively hold down a search button to search an object so that you don't actually need to get within range and then hit the button. You can just run up holding the button and it'll open. A display of how much ammo is in your gun, and making the map larger with the map literally like that you open and look at, larger with the ability to zoom in, because currently it's just one huge map. They're adding the ability to load up or to invite friends from Facebook, which is interesting. And I think that's going to help get more and more players, which is actually pretty smart. And they said Twitter and other social networks will be following that. And then they announced more limited time modes. So these are things like 50 versus 50. They recently did snipers only, which was actually really fun. So they're looking at new ones such as Blitz, which is shorter matches. Basically, the circle will start moving faster. Everything's just quicker in this mode.
Yikes.
The floor is lava mode, where you can't touch the floor, which is interesting. Let's see. You have to drop into the first circle mode. I don't know what that is. Oh, no, this is just Blitz stuff. You drop into the first circle, generally less time between circles. They're revamping 50 versus 50 and calling it 50 versus 52, which will have closer experience to the trailer that they revealed. There's 2 buses at the start instead of 1, so each team has their own bus. They're adding more supply drops, and you can see all of your squad mates on the map. So just quality of life changes to the 50 versus 50, addressing problems that people had where, like, you drop out of the same bus as the other person, so you'll just land and probably get killed or just kill somebody on their team.
Yeah.
Now you're each in your own bus, so you know the people landing with you are your teammates instead of your enemies.
What if the buses collide?
I'm actually really interested in that. I thought about that. They're adding custom matches. They already have this for certain streamers. They allow them to do a custom match every couple days. But they're allowing custom matches, which is funny because people come up with their own game modes. Like I saw a hide and seek mode where everybody just went and hid, and then one person went to try and find all 99 other people, which was hilarious because he turned the corner and there was just literally hundreds of rooftops, those little hills that people can build.
Oh, yeah.
And everybody was just under different ones. And he's like, you gotta be kidding me. They are adjusting the audio for footsteps so that you can tell if something is above or below you rather than just the direction, which is really nice. Currently, you hear footsteps and you're like, I don't know if that's above or below. And the problem with that is they added tilted towers, which is all vertical. And you're like, somebody's in this house. I don't know where.
Somebody's here. Don't know where.
Don't know where. I'm going to hide in the corner. So this will make better players better, probably. We're making it easier to locate people's position through listening. Building will change the audio of how that works. Basically, when you first build something, it's going to make like a loud clanking noise, and then it'll be more quiet after that. I don't know how much I like that change, but I'll wait for it. And then finally, of course, Battle Pass Season 3 is coming. Season 2 ends, I believe, right after Valentine's Day, or maybe a few days after that. And Season 3, they said that we're focusing less on dailies, because that was a big complaint, that people were like, there's so many dailies. So it seems like they're going to have a daily system, or if you don't want to do the daily, they can give you something else to do. But they haven't gone into specifics. So a lot of changes. They're working really hard. They canceled Paragon. They're putting everybody on Fortnite. So that's exciting. I like a lot of those updates, especially like the audio stuff, and the Blitz mode sounds really fun.
That does sound like fun, yeah.
I predicted Blitz mode was the game as it is, except it is 300% faster. So just everything's faster. You move faster, you control. And yeah, that was my guess for the game.
I would like that with like sort of like the Unreal gravity, where you can just
that would be awesome.
You just jump and float.
Well, that's part of the reason I like Fortnite is when people are using grenade launchers and rocket launchers, it has an Unreal feel to it because you can see them coming and get out of the way. Even sniper bullets, if you're fast enough to react, you can see them coming at you, which is part of the reason I like it. Let's talk about more games getting updates, such as Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Nick, let's talk about these. You can grab the paper there.
Yeah. Update 1.3, they put one out. I mean, obviously, these aren't something that get like a Nintendo short or anything like that on it. They're not going to break any game sites talking about it, but the game's slowly getting updated. This one's 1.3. They finally brought in New Game Plus, which is what every 100-hour RPG needs, really, because it's just like, well, I'm going to go do it again, especially one that's as grindy as this one. You kind of want to start the game over and have all your cool stuff that you earned for hours and hours and hours. It's also got an easy mode. I didn't look into the details of this, but I mean, I'm pretty sure it's self-explanatory. I know some fights, especially one of people's major complaints is fighting like a pack of like level 10s, and there's like a level 80 that shows up. So I would imagine maybe easy mode.
Yeah, I've seen that before.
Maybe easy mode is just like a get out of jail free sort of situation where you can just kind of bail and not get slashed to death as you're running away. And I know RPGs are starting to adopt the easy mode, which is more like, hey, watch the game get played.
Like a cinematic mode.
Yeah, it's like live the story, whatever, but when the combat happens, it's just like hit 2 buttons and kill stuff sort of thing. Also, additional drivers in the game, which drivers are...
Fortnite update.
Drivers are
Terrible.
basically your supports in each fight, and a lot of main characters from the actual narrative are being added to your group sort of thing. So it's like getting more party members for the most part. Also, ability to skip in-game cutscenes and not like story cutscenes. You could already do that, but there's a lot of like... If you think of like microtransaction sort of stuff, like open the loot box, watch the scene get
like
played.
Yeah.
So basically, the thing you do like 300 times and have to sit through and wait.
You see it 300 times.
You can skip it now, and there's a lot of send this guy out to do this quest, send this person out to do that quest sort of thing that you can also skip.
That's nice.
So that's super nice because that's like 50 hours that you have in your life back now. So
Jeez, good lord.
and
That's
just,
a lot of treasure chests.
just a bunch of other like quality of life changes with like the inventory system and sorting and stuff like that in the mini map.
A lot of complaints that people had about it they seem to be working on, which is always nice. I believe that game sold over 1 million units as well. I think that was one of their announcements. They talked about Mario sold 9 point something million. Next up was... What do you think? Switch game.
Splatoon 2.
No, that is not
Breath
correct.
of the Wild.
Nope,
Yeah.
that's not right either. Mario Kart.
Oh.
Mario Kart, I think, sold like 7 something, and then Zelda sold 6 point something, which is crazy. That's a lot of units, especially, Mario selling 9 is insane. And then on top of that, there's other things like Xenoblade selling 1 million, ARMS has sold over 1 million, like Splatoon sold 5 million.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I'm more
people
impressed
are buying
with
games for the Switch.
I'm more impressed with the Splatoon, ARMS, and Xenoblade. Especially Xenoblade came out in December, so I mean, not the best time of year to.
It reminds me a lot of Vita because that's how Vita was. Like there wasn't a lot of Vitas, but everybody who had a Vita was buying 5, 6, 7 games, and this is like that, except everybody's buying the Vita. Like that's the difference. It's like everybody has the Switch and they're buying the games, which is crazy.
Switch users are keeping the lights on at Nintendo.
Yeah, I'll say.
Yeah.
But that's very exciting, and I really hope it means that they're going to be porting even more Wii U games, because a lot of those ports are doing really well. I want to see Tokyo Mirage very, very, very badly. And probably, I wouldn't also mind seeing Star Fox with good controls.
Yeah, or just
functional
make
controls?
the stupid stuff optional.
That's
I
fair.
really like to play a Star Fox game.
Next up, the most important news of the week, Kingdom Hearts 3 got a new trailer, and it is one of the best action trailers I have ever seen. It introduces the Monsters, Inc. world, which has been rumored for quite a while. There were some leaks
Like
of
a
this world.
decade or something?
There are some leaks of this world, but I thought that they were fake, and then now that we get to see it, I'm still not sure if they're fake, because when you're in the world in the trailer, your character looks like a monster. Like, they do that when you go to certain worlds. Your character looks like they belong in that world. And in the leaks, it was just regular-looking Sora and Goofy and Donald. So I don't know if that was a early leak or if it was fake and just also
Just a
happened
fan-made thing, yeah.
to be true. I haven't compared, like, the areas he was in to the actual trailer. Also, because the same person who did that leaked every world in the game, and I don't want to know that. Like, I'm good. They're pretty good at not showing everything that you get to do in the game, at least so far. So I don't want that spoiled for me if that's true. Like, there's a Nightmare Before Christmas world. I want to be surprised when I go there and I go, oh, it's Nightmare Before Christmas, because you don't know until you actually get to the world in the game, which is
I'll
cool.
look it up for you. Let you know.
Please do not.
Let's spoil it.
Let's do it.
So there is a lot of crazy stuff in this trailer. They finally showed off what Rapunzel and Finn look like from the Tangled world. They showed off Ariel, who is a summon in this game, which apparently people assume now you're not going to go to her world because she would be an actual character in the game and not just a massive mermaid water monster that flies up and splashes down on all the enemies. They revealed the Dream Eaters from Dream Drop Distancer in the game. A lot of people mixed responses for that. They actually had 2 trailers. They ended both of them with 2018, and that the release date is coming E3. So they're doubling down on the 2018, and they even announced when the release date's getting announced. So that is huge.
A release date for a release date?
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
So that's huge. The worlds are very vertical this time. There's a lot of jumping off things and falling for very, very, very
Ever.
long, like very long periods of time, which we haven't really had in any of the Kingdom Hearts games before. Very God of War 3 and 2 feeling with the scale of this game so far.
But does it have Battle Royale?
Or microtransactions?
You get to play as Goofy. There's just 100 Goofies.
Oh, I would play that.
That sounds awesome. And then on top of that, another big thing is they revealed the theme song for the game, which is something huge because they've only had 2 theme songs for Kingdom Hearts 1, and then all the spin-offs for that had a remixed version of the theme song, and then Kingdom Hearts 2, and that had remixed versions of its theme song. So Kingdom Hearts 3, they did a tease of what the theme song is, and it is super sad and super slow, and all the other ones have been kind of like synth pop. So I don't think this game's going to have a happy ending, is kind of my conclusion to that.
I could have told you that.
Maybe they're going to announce that it's actually canceled.
And
That was my
and,
theory.
and that
canceled.
song
Yeah.
is just going to play, and then it's just going to say canceled. No, it's coming 2018. I feel it.
Feel it getting canceled?
No, I feel it coming in 2018. It's going to happen. But yes, super excited. I know you guys aren't. Actually, you've just never played Kingdom Hearts, so
Don't care at all.
And never will.
I don't understand why. But
Because
this
Disney.
is 15 years in the making, and it's finally time to see the conclusion, because this is the last one of the series.
Heard that before.
Yes.
What, that it's the last one?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because it's not out yet. You've been hearing it for about 5 years. This is supposed to be the last one in the saga with these characters, and they said if they do another one, it'll probably be different characters. Same idea, I guess.
Yeah, Sora's got to be tired.
Well, one thing that I do really like that they showed off, one of the trailers was in English, which was our first English trailer, which is huge, actually, because it shows that they've done something with the English voice cast. But something that is cool that they do with these is the characters do grow up, which doesn't happen in a lot of other games. So Sora in the second game wears his clothes from the first game, and they're too small for him. And one of the first missions is you have to go get clothes that actually fit you, you know? And in this one, they showed off some of the new outfits for some of the characters. And they're all older now. Like, they start out as, I forget what they say. They might say 10 years old. Like, they start out young, and now they're, past teenagers, or at least late teenagers. So it's really cool. Couldn't be more excited for this game. However, I'm still trying to tone it down until I see that release date and it's in the store and I buy it and it's in my console. That's when I'm going to be believe it.
I'm going to sneak over here and take all your power cables so you can't play it.
I was going to say
take his disc drive out.
I thought you were going to say the game, and I was like, I'm just going to buy 2 copies. And then
No,
you
you
said
can
power
I'm
cables.
taking the
I
power
was
cables
like,
from
oh,
all your consoles.
I don't know what to do now. All right, let's move into some comments and questions. Okay, so comment number 1, Zach Yoder says, I think Smash would... we'll get there. I think Smash would have to be the title they launch with for the online service, but at this point, I'd wait another year or 2 and get a whole new Smash instead of a port. I agree with basically all of that. I would rather just get a new Smash kind of at this point, unless this port is going to add stuff.
Yeah.
I could see them adding all the stuff that was in the 3DS version.
Well, I'm kind of curious
That'd be
too.
cool.
I know we kind of talked about it, but I don't know like how long their license for like the cloud and the whoever else.
Yeah, I'm worried
like,
about
I would
that, too.
rather, if they're gonna port it, I would rather have like an all-inclusive version that gets like, hey, Snake's back and
That's
all
not
these other
happening.
people. So I would rather have something like that if they're still gonna port it. But at this point, I kind of just want a new one.
Port it with bonuses.
Obviously, from stuff like Evo, we can see that the Melee and Smash 4, I guess, Smash Wii U, is still popular enough to where, no one's like saying, oh, I really want to play these games, but it's not available on the system that I have, sort of thing. I don't know.
The other thing is, even if Smash had online that was perfect, like they do it, it's got
You're
perfect
funny.
online.
Good
Yeah.
lord.
I don't think I'd play it online. Like,
I'm retired from Smash, so
that's true. But
hung up the jersey.
I
like that's a
can't
game
see
that
myself wanting to sit down on my couch and play people online in Smash. Like, that doesn't even sound fun to me.
Yeah. I'm already pretty averse to playing fighting games online anyway. Like, I'm not like the online warrior with Tekken, Dragon Ball Fighters, anything like that. But that's like a strictly LAN type of game to me. And I feel like you play fighting games online to get better at like the 1v1 or 3v3. In some cases, like you're really grinding out the skill. Whereas this one, you just want to be in person and just play with people.
Yeah, I
I
agree.
just want to yell at Kevin while I'm beating him.
Right, like that is part of the fun of the game, is that intimacy of knocking somebody out and then yelling in their face that you just destroyed them with the silliest move ever.
Kirby just beat you.
Oh,
that
King
way.
DDD just flew down from the sky and wiped out 3 people.
And I know at least 2 people at this table who played the Wii version online, and that whole if it was
it's
perfect
horrible.
thing, it's not going to exist. So.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, even if it was perfect and this is the game that they try to push online with, I don't see myself playing it online. Like, I'd much rather have a new Mario Kart as the game that they
Yeah,
push.
that's what I would play online. I was about to
online.
say Mario Kart.
Or the Mario sports games. That too.
Sure, something like that.
Mario Party.
Oh, God, no. I actually do really want a new Mario Party, but we'll talk about that some other time.
Yeah.
Bat Nixon says, press X_YT, it's too complicated. Did you try press X live? Easier to remember and type. It also makes sense. Also, I hate underscores. Yes, I did try press X live. It is taken, and there is another name that is... So basically the way Twitch names work, they're either available, taken, or in limbo. And if they're available, obviously you can take it, and if they're taken, you can't. But if nobody's done anything with the name in a year, they go into like this limbo void where
Purgatory?
eventually
Pretty
they'll
much.
be opened up for somebody to take. And there is a name I'm looking at that I really like that is currently in that limbo state. So I check it every once in a while because I want it. If I get it, I'll say that. Until then, I think the press X_YT is fine.
Yeah, I
It's
remember-
the Twitter name. Like,
I remember when
it's
you were
whatever.
trying to get Twitch names and stuff, that everything you tried for the first 3 days was taken.
It was very frustrating. Like, press X Live would be fine.
Yeah.
But it's taken.
Well, it's not like you have to type it every time you log in. You just bookmark
Yeah, you
it
just
and-
do it once. Like, it'll
Yeah.
be in the description of the video, and you
Yeah.
just click there and you're done.
I'm not the biggest fan of underscores either, but I can suck it up.
I
Yeah.
like them.
And you
They're
can't
my
do
favorite.
spaces.
Type it in once. So
So yeah, there's one that I'm looking at, but as of right now, yeah, that's what it is. Next up, World End says a lot of clickbait articles recently about the PS4 being down in year-over-year sales for 2017, when in fact it's just the last 3 months of 2017. They are down versus 2016's last 3 months. Overall, 2017 PS4 has sold 20.2 million units, 20.7 million more than 2016's. Yeah, that's all very true. And like I talked about last week, I saw this popping up as very clickbaity articles where they're like, is the PS4 done for? All this stuff. And it's like, no, They had a Pro launch last year, so that probably boosted sales. And this year they had a Switch and an Xbox One X available in the same time period, and that probably hurt their sales. That's it.
I think it's just one of those when you're on top, everyone's trying to take you down sort of things. So
you have a bullseye on you.
Yeah, they're like, we have 70 million PS4 sold, whatever. Yeah. But I agree. There was a lot of doom and gloomy articles about them. Like, is this the end of it? And the reason is because people click those articles.
Yeah, console wars are always a fun click for people.
Yeah, like even obviously like the DC movies have that problem where everything written about them, and now Star Wars has that problem where there's no such thing as a positive Star Wars article anymore. You're just...
I've seen a couple.
I don't think you have. People did like Lando in that new trailer.
Yeah,
everybody's like, wow, this movie looks horrible, but a Lando movie.
But the Lando...
I would watch that one. And I will agree, he did look really good, and I would much rather have a Lando movie, to be fair. Next up, CS Nick, 1992, says...
Not me.
It's probably going to be a Pokemon Switch game, talking about how the online works. That would allow what? Like trading and battling, I guess? Is that...
I mean, they have that on the 3DS one. So.
What I would hope for
is but on the Switch, if that was the game that launched with the online
it wouldn't be hard to implement, but
Yeah, I hope it would be like that, but if they wanted to actually like make it an online world sort of thing, I would say go the route of like a Phantasy Star and just have
Pokemon,
like sort of like
MMO.
hubs. Have the hubs be like just different areas. Be like, oh, I can catch
I
the
agree
water
with
things
that.
here.
I don't think we're going to get that. So here's the thing.
Agreed.
Yeah, I don't
If
agree with
Pokemon is coming out this year, which I still don't really believe, but if it is the 3DS game that they were working on ported to the Switch. And that's all it is. And it's just it'll probably look like Sun and Moon, but not as pixely.
Stars?
Yeah, like it'll look like a good looking Sun and Moon, basically. I don't think it's going to be anything crazy and new. Like some people think this is going to be the MMO open world looking around thing.
I don't think we'll ever get that.
And I don't think it's going to be.
Well, I just I don't think they're going to have Pokemon and Metroid fight it out in the same year.
So that's my next thing. There's now a rumor that Metroid Prime 4, or whatever they're going to call it, is a 2018 game, and it's being produced by Bandai Namco, who actually helped with the Smash port, or the Smash 4 version. And it is a group of people from Star Wars 1313's development. But this is like a new group of people together to make this new Metroid Prime game. And they talked about that they have 3 games coming out in 2018. And I think, is Dark Souls Bandai Namco? Is that right?
I think so.
If I had to guess, I think we get a Dragon Ball FighterZ port for Switch. I could see that happening by the end of the year. And I don't know about Metroid, but it seems like they want to infer that it's coming this year. I just can't believe that for the life of me.
But yeah, they're not... See. I mean, obviously with Zelda and Mario, they spaced their franchises out, so they're not going to have Pokemon and Metroid on top of each other, I would imagine.
Oh, both as like end-of-the-year games?
Yeah.
So if anything, Pokemon is related, then yeah, it's kind of like, hey, here's this game you know and love with added features, and now it's on the system sort of thing.
I could even see it being like, I really honestly don't think it's anything. I don't think they're going to launch with a game because they're Nintendo, and I think their launch is going to be, here's our old games that you can now play like Netflix, and it's got Mario 3 and Mario 2 and all that stuff. But I also wouldn't be surprised if it's some mid-tier thing like Animal Crossing, and they're like, you can go visit your friends' worlds if you have the online.
Yeah.
And that's it. So we'll have to see. I think if Pokemon comes out, which I think is the most likely of those games, Metroid or Pokemon, I think it'll be November, and I think it'll just feel like a 3DS game that looks a lot better and performs a lot better, would be my guess.
Probably.
And then Nick Hassell, what does he say?
Oh, hey, it's me.
He says, what you poor souls will never see is the actual 10 minutes of an existential despair in Kevin's face when he realized that he's been pronouncing the viewer's username wrong when he quotes them.
I was like 10 seconds away from calling an ambulance. I thought he had a stroke.
Zach Yoder says, LOL, it's cool. I didn't mind. So that's very sweet. So I want to point out a few things. 1, I'm dyslexic. Leave me alone.
2, he can't read very well unless he writes it.
Correct. Also true. But I've now pronounced World's End name wrong and Zach's name wrong.
How did you mess that up?
I did World's End instead of World End. I added an S. But it's from an anime. It's a whole story.
Okay.
We talked about it in the comments. But yeah, I'm sorry about that. But yeah, I froze because this is the thing. I thought it was a joke. Like I thought you were doing some sort of practical joke, and I was like, oh, he went into the text editing thing and edited it. I'm like, oh, that's funny. And then like I went and I checked it. I'm like, no, I'm just wrong. Like, I'm just a horrible person.
Just 10 minutes of silence, and Todd and I were like, what's wrong?
Is he okay?
You broke me.
Did he die?
All right. Let's move into a quick question. If you want your question answered on the show, please leave it in the comments down below. And here we have, is video game exclusivity bad for the video game industry?
Yeah, I want everything on PC. Done.
Really? Okay, so I'm at strongly disagree.
I don't think it's actually bad. I would like to play everything on PC, but I understand why I can't. Because making something specifically for the PS4 helps you make it better, I think.
That's very true, yeah.
Yeah,
I understand why.
I don't get... As someone who, at least since the Wii, PS3, Xbox, or whatever generation you want to call it, when it was clearly Nintendo, Microsoft, Sony, I usually buy each one. And then it gets to the point...
I see what you're saying.
Now,
each console.
Yeah, I bought each one, or each camp, basically. I bought their system. Same thing with the PS4, Xbox One, Wii U, and then now the Switch. Like, I want the identity of each console to make sense, and I don't want it to just be this system plays games in this sort of way. This one's more of a media center, and this one's more...
I think you get Steam boxes then, which was a huge disaster where nobody knew what they did. They're all different prices, and they all played the same stuff, and it's like, I don't fully understand. Yeah, to me, yes, I think games are way more polished if you have one team only working on one version of it, and I think it also helps smaller studios who want to launch and then maybe port things over. You get something like Inside, which was on Xbox One first, and then they brought it over to the other things. You also get something like The Witness, which was on PS4 first, and then it got brought over. So I think it helps a smaller studio launch.
It helps them focus,
Yeah, if there's a bug that's only on one system, then they can work it out and stuff like that. On top of that, it helps drive sales of the system. I feel like people are way more likely to buy Horizon Zero Dawn if it is an exclusive to PlayStation 4 that everybody's playing and talking about.
But I want to play Horizon on my PC.
Making a big event around, as opposed to it launching everywhere, and I feel like kind of deflating that. And I think we've seen that with the Xbox One, where every game they announce, they're like, and it's also on PC, and people are like, well, it gives them an excuse, basically, to be like, well, I'll check it out later, I'll wait for a Steam sale, or, you know. Whereas when you're like, it's only playable here, this is the only place you can get it, then you're like, well, I guess I need to hop in because it's only playable here and it's the only place I can get it. So
yeah, like this might be a weird comparison, but I know at least you who've watched wrestling for a little bit, you remember when it was like we have the Monday event, then the Thursday event, then the weekend event, then here's the pay-per-view. Like it was always the same camp of people moving around, but when they did the draft, it was really cool.
That was like my favorite.
There's like 10 top tier people, and now this show's got this many. This one, like, can you imagine if they just took like Persona, Horizon, all these things of last year, Zelda, Mario, and not all of them were on two systems. Mm-hmm. But like the Xbox maybe got, maybe the Xbox is more like the open world, exploratory, and like online multiplayer, or like arena sort of thing. So Overwatch only would have went to Xbox on consoles, and it wouldn't have went to PS4 because that's not the shooter bro system. Like that's what I was saying about identities. Like I wish it would kind of make sense. And aside from going from console to PC, like that route, I wish third party just didn't exist, honestly. I could do without the Maddens. Like I would be more interested if PS4 had like their own football game and Xbox had their own football game, or if just Xbox had the sports games and Sony was just like, see ya. Other than like Gran
MLB
Turismo.
the show.
But the show is awesome.
Yeah, well, yeah, and stuff like that.
Like
game. If they had their own baseball game on Xbox and then the show to kind of compete with it, maybe Xbox's, what was it, the Bigs, whereas like everyone was muscled up and jacked up, like the Blitz
but those games are mediocre.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I was like, I don't know. I would like
just
more.
Take 2K to Xbox and let PlayStation do their own thing or something.
Something like that. Just get rid of third party, at least as far as like horizontally or across from each other. Just make the third party you can play it on PC.
You
also.
want like genre machines, basically.
Sure. Like I don't know. At least I feel like that would give them more identity rather than. Like, I get sick of seeing this is what the Xbox version looks like. This is what the PS4 version looks like. This is the PS4 Pro, One X. Here's the Switch version. then here's PC, which is God tier. So
Yeah, I could see that happening. I wouldn't not see it happening, but I wouldn't mind if that happened, I guess. But then it hurts the people who are like, well, I like racing games and RPGs, and now I have to buy two things.
Get over it.
It causes that problem.
I don't know. I don't know. It would help with multiplayer too, because I feel like, at least for me, the people who want to play the shooters are mostly have a PC or like a really good laptop or something. The people who want to play their own single player 100-hour adventure, they all have a Sony machine. Switch, probably not, and Xbox, and the people who want to play the Halos and the Overwatches and stuff like that most likely have an Xbox, like the big shooter online things where you're just constantly online.
Yeah.
So I would say just stick to that, and I would more than not, I guess, want to see the games like Horizon, all that, just focused in on Xbox, and then PS4 can just keep the fighting games. They can keep the
interesting
story-based games.
It's a very
and stuff like
interesting opinion. I'm
like
sure
I said,
nobody agrees with you.
That's why I let off with I usually buy one of each because I want all of them, but I don't want to have to buy like the same game for two systems just because this camp of people wants to play this and the other camp is just strictly, I don't want to Sony, I don't play Japanese games, or something like that. So
I also do want to say that like it helps you curate things to your own system engine. Like, for instance, the Horizon engine is getting passed to Kojima to do Death Stranding, and I know that what was it? The Forza engine is getting used for Fable or something like that.
Oh yeah.
Like
the Horizon, at least the Forza Horizon.
Yeah, so like it allows you to do those in-house, like helping each other out.
Yeah, we've got a perfectly good engine.
Yeah,
to run this
that I don't think would happen if it was on everything.
Yeah.
So that's
Sometimes
interesting.
it's good to focus.
Kojima wouldn't have got delivered a flash drive on a golden tray if it weren't for that. So
He might have. You don't know.
probably not. I can't imagine the offers Kojima got when he first went to being like a free agent. Everybody had to be like giving him everything that he could possibly
I offered him
want.
$20.
I gave him a call.
I'm sure his inbox.
He didn't understand me.
He turned me down.
I'm sure his inbox and cell phone were blowing up. So.
Yeah, people are sliding into those DMs, and it was probably crazy. Let's move into the releases for the week. Actually, quite a bit of releases. I don't know how many of them matter. There's at least one or two.
They all matter.
Dynasty Warriors 9, PS4, Xbox One, PC, coming February 13th. The Fall 2, Unbound, PS4, Xbox One, PC, coming February 13th. Kingdom Come, PC, PS4, Xbox One, February 13th. I've been hearing a lot about this
You see anything
game,
about
actually.
that?
Nope.
It's basically it is a first person. So if you think like Skyrim as far in first person, Skyrim as far as like an RPG goes, where it's kind of medieval, stuff like that, and yeah, there's some fighting, yeah, there's whatever, but this one's like more historically accurate and obviously all first person, and it's like narrative driven as well. But it looks really gritty, not as far as like story goes, so don't think like DC movie, but think like as far as like it's like it's real dirty and it's real like I don't know, it just kind of fits like the medieval atmosphere basically. But like even when you put your helmet on, like you see the mask and you can see through the little holes in it and stuff like that. And I don't know, it looks really cool.
Sounds like it should be a VR game.
Yeah, I think a lot of people said it would look really good in VR. But wasn't it kickstarted? I
don't know. I don't know this game. I've seen people posting like, when are the reviews going to go up?
This
and
is
stuff like that.
basically people's like sort of like Divinity was last year. It's people's like RPG Dark Horse sort of game.
Gotcha.
Like, hey, every RPG person should check this out.
Dark Horse made comics.
That too. There's usually one a year, basically.
This is why Kellen isn't on the show anymore.
There's usually one of these types of games
Worth
per
it.
year, and this one is the 2018 kind of below the radar sort of thing, where at the end of the year, if it holds up to at least people's hype, there's going to be one or two reviewers go, yeah, but I played Kingdom Come. And it's just like, I heard about it, but I didn't play it. So
yeah, it does sound a bit like Divinity in that.
Yeah.
In that realm. Next up is Owlboy, coming to Switch, PS4, Xbox One, February 13th. I did not realize this is this week. I'm very excited about this.
This game looks cool.
This was a PC game in 2016, I think it came out, and people were championing it for a Game of the Year, contender. And basically, it is a platformer with really nice pixel art, like beautiful pixel art, where you can't shoot, but you're
You just fly around.
this
you're an
owlboy, and you just fly around, and basically you can pick up enemies and make them kill each other. And
Well,
all
you
this
can
stuff.
pick up a guy who shoots for you, too.
Yeah, it seems really neat. I did not realize this was coming out this week. I'll probably be checking this out for PlayStation 4. Next up, Crossing Souls, PS4, PC, February 13th. Is this
So
the
like
new...
Animal Crossing Dark Souls,
I was just about to say, is this the new Dark Souls game?
but Animal
At
Crossing.
least it's not crossing streams.
Next up, Radiant Historia, Perfect Chronologically. 3DS, February 13th. Next up, Monster Energy Supercross, the official video game. PS4, Xbox One, Switch, PC, February 13th.
Cool, man.
Are you picking this one up, Nick?
Not at all.
The Longest 5 Minutes, Switch, Vita, PC, February 13th.
Is that the next Dragon Ball game? I feel like I've been on the
I don't
same
get it.
40-minute stretch for like 30 episodes.
That's how that show goes.
Off topic.
Next up, Secret of Mana, PC, PS4, Vita, February 15th.
Hey, I know what that one is.
I didn't know this was coming to Vita.
Do you still have a Vita?
I have 2.
I know.
I have 3 technically, I guess.
Oh, Lord.
Interesting. I'm gonna have to look up the Vita stuff because it's starting to get to the point where people are making concessions because now it's also PS4 games. So it'll be like, oh, there's no cutscenes or there's no, voice acting. You have to download it in
There's
a patch
no
after,
game.
or things like that. So I'll look into what it has, but that's interesting. I didn't realize it was on Vita.
That's cool.
Next up, Bayonetta 1+2 Collection for the Switch coming February 16th.
God, it's already here. Awesome.
So this is Bayonetta 2 for the Switch, and then you get a downloadable copy of Bayonetta 1.
Yes.
Or you can buy either of them in the store, and it'll discount the opposite one that you bought. So if you buy 2, the Bayonetta 1 will drop to $30 or whatever it is, and if you buy 1, Bayonetta 2 will drop. So that's really cool for
excited.
digital people. Yeah, I'm not going to get these because
Digital people.
I fairly recently played through the Bayonettas, but I will probably get this when it goes on discount because I would like to own it. And that is one more game. If I can convert my entire Wii U collection to
the
Switch, that is one more game that I can go. Maybe I'll get rid of this console. I've only gotten one console ever in my life. The GameCube. It is the only console I ever got rid of because the Wii was backwards compatible with GameCube games and the controllers. So I was like, I don't need a GameCube.
Sure.
So that's the only console I ever got rid of. And if they can convert all of my Wii U games to Switch, maybe I'll get rid of my Wii U. It'll be a historic event.
Will it?
Yeah. Next is Faye or Fi. PS4, Xbox One, Switch, PC, February 16th. This is that one where you turn into animals and it's real pretty, and I have no interest in it. I don't know. It looks like if you saw the trailer, you'd be like, "Oh, Kevin would definitely be into that game." And
No,
there's just
I don't think
He's
about you
not.
when I don't have to.
all right. Luckily, that's the last game, so we can end this nonsense that's going on for Kellen. I don't know what happened. He's been drinking. He finished his coffee. Now he's all sassy.
What?
He's just hungry.
Yeah, that may also be true. He's
No,
like,
I'm
let's
fine.
get the show on the road. That's it for this episode of the Press X Podcast. Thank you for being here, Kellen.
Yep.
I guess. Thank you for being here, Nick.
Shadow of the Colossus Game of the Year 2005 and 2018.
What about 2009 or whenever it came to PS3?
There was better stuff to play at that time.
That's not true. It came with Ico,
Yeah.
which is a better game than
I take it.
Shadow.
Oh,
I did like Ico.
We got to fight now.
I like Last Guardian more than Shadow, too.
It's time to sign off.
And thank you so much for watching. We'll speak with you next time.
That's
We
blasphemy.
might not make it to 111 if you keep talking.